Gendered language usage. While many things are taking place during the socialization process, children are learning language also. And when we talk about language, we know that children learn a lot about genders, gender roles, and the status of genders through language. The words, the phrases, the sentences, the stories that they hear, they tell them a lot about genders and gender roles. We know that in any society, in any culture, language reflects the culture. And we said that gender roles and gender identities, while they are developing, a great significant role is played by language in that also. We see that in any culture, different subcultures also exist. And those subcultures may be different from each other on the basis of language, may be different on the basis of the customs and practices and traditions that they have, different types of values that they have. Similarly, we see that males and females, men and women also have two different subcultures within any society. Male and female subcultures can be differentiated on the basis of their language usage also. The way communication takes place, the way the words, phrases and sentences are used, the way they express themselves are different in terms of, in case of men and women. Register is what they talk about and what they say and how they say. A variety of language defined according to its use in social situations. So, the way men would talk, the way women would talk would be their registers. Registers are gendered. While using the same language, men and women may exhibit completely different styles, distinctive styles of communication and expression. The differences between men and women and the language usage and in their registers can be in terms of vocabulary that they use, the grammar that they use, sentence structure that they use, non-verbal communication that they use. Also the emphasis. What do they emphasize on? What do they like to talk about? The duration of talk, the duration of conversation, all these things reflect gender differences. Research shows that if we look at the communication patterns of men and women, it is seen that women use more qualifiers than men. So whenever they are saying something, they want something to qualify it. They may end sentences with a tag question. Like जब हम उर्दू में बात कहते हैं, पूरी एक बात करने के बाद वो कहते हैं, है ना? ऐसा ही है ना? So there are qualifiers and there are tag questions which are added. Men usually do not do that. But we should always keep in mind that exceptions apart. It is not said and it should not imply that all women talk like that. And it should not imply that all men talk or behave like that. But general patterns show that women use more qualifiers, more tag questions, and they use more intensifiers while describing something. Like saying the situation was very pleasant, they would say situation was extremely good, extremely pleasant, remarkably good, wonderful. Such words and terms are usually used more by women. Use more complex and descriptive vocabulary. Usually when women are talking, and if you listen to young girls talking to each other, they would be talking more in detail about things, elaborate details. If they are telling the story of a movie to a friend, they will be telling each and every detail of every scene and every shot that took place. Men, on the other hand, do not go into such details. Then women, when they are communicating and conversing, they are more polite and they are softer, usually. And they express usually indirectly. Men, on the other hand, they are slightly different. Men use generally the range of words that includes mechanics, technology, financial matters, sports, legal affairs, politics, etc. And men use more profanity. Women usually do not use language which is not desirable. They usually do not use bad words. They usually do not call names to people openly. They usually are not abusive. But men generally may be abusive in their language. Men are more direct. They are more instrumental and more personal. They instead of going into details and tangents, they would be more straight and direct. In social situations, men are more talkative. Women are generally known to be more talkative, but actually research shows that men talk more than women. And men in their conversation, they dominate women. If a man and a woman are talking, usually it will be seen that the man would be dominating in that conversation. Women may indulge in lengthy conversations. Men usually do not do lengthy conversations on the same subject unless it is a matter of finances, it's a matter of politics or official matters. Discussion on personal life is done more by women, less by men. Disclosure, there is more disclosure and self-disclosure done by women. And men usually disclose less about themselves and about their personal life. In women's talk, gossip may be there, but that doesn't mean that the intentions are negative. We are not talking about the intentions, but we are saying that they do a lot of light talking also. Text messages and being online, it is seen that women can go and women do, and especially young girls are for going for online discussions and online uses for longer durations. But we should remember that these differences are not fixed. We know that men spend hours on computers. They are online for very long durations. Men who are doing text messaging all the time. But on average, we see that the tendency is more in young girls as compared to men.